family. My name's Jillian DeFoot. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome back. For those of you who are my subscribers, you're family now. You're part of the DeFoots. I don't care what anybody says. You may not have the last name, but you got the last name, okay? This is Different Women. It's an extension of Different Ministries and House to House Incorporated, something that my husband had started. I really have a passion for fostering and teaching women and their gifting to help them thrive as mothers and wives, and to help see that their homes are truly stewarded well. If you are returning and have not hit the subscribe button yet, what are you waiting for? Smash the thing, get in with it. I'm so excited though to share with you what God has placed on my heart today. Last night, I had posted a video about how you can serve your husband in a practical way, outside of just getting it in, okay? For those who are married, you know what that means. There's other ways to do it. And this morning I wanted to it's almost afternoon now, so it is what it is. By the time this is uploaded, it's going to be afternoon. So today I wanted to discuss specifically not withholding so that way you can get what you want. All right. This is something I've talked about on my TikTok. I think it's really, really relevant and important, especially in today's world where a lot of women, especially Latino women, we feel like we deserve XYZ thing, and so we withhold whatever it is that our husband is asking for. We withhold our kindness, we withhold our generosity, we withhold our prayers, and instead may start to pray those prayers of manipulation like I was talking about last night, and we start to delve into witchcraft. We start to then open up doors in our hearts that will prevent us from being able to minister and serve with humility in our homes, right? It's going to start to create this resentment that we start to envy a little bit when our husbands are relaxing, or our husbands may not start to respond to us in kind. And I just want to help to dispel the myth that withholding is going to get you what you want. It's not. It may for a season, and a very, very short season. It's not going to live forever, but it will for a short season get you immediate results of, well, because I'm gonna just run through what goes on inside of a man's head when you're doing this type of thing, right? If as a wife, and I'm only going to speak from a wife perspective because I can't say what it would look like from a dating perspective. The Lord may give me revelation as the video goes along, but from a wife perspective, if you are withholding your kindness, your generosity in the bedroom from your spouse, in the short term, you're going to train him to do what you ask in order for him to get what he wants. Well, what happens when, even when he does those things, now you're asking more of him every single time, and he still doesn't get what he's needing? And intimacy is a need that a spouse has with his wife. It's a need. It's actually a need for both of you, whether you realize it or not. We're just gonna throw it out there. Intimacy is the glue that holds you guys together. And you withholding that is allowing there to be some less tackiness on the page of you guys coming together and being a unified front. The more time that goes on in between of you guys not uniting in that way, it creates a divide. Instead, I would challenge you and encourage you to lay down your fleshly desire for wanting to get your way, okay? Let me tell you, it's really tough, especially, like I said, Latina women. We do a lot. Our husbands are spoiled. They are spoiled through and through. What happens though when I'll speak from personal experience? If I lay aside my pride and instead give my husband what he needs, I will get instances like this morning where my husband is more than happy to, and he's been doing this more and more frequently, wakes up early in the morning rather than me, and will go downstairs, make coffee, make breakfast, sometimes even bring it to me in bed. That's how I get what I need. Okay, I'm supplying his need, which is actually a need for us inside of marriage to be able to help have a unified front and create those levels of intimacy and trust, so that way I can get what I need later on, right? So if I want to have my husband pursue my heart and pursue our marriage in such a way that he's asking me out on dates, or he's picking up his stuff around the house. While it may seem like common sense to us as women on a lot of occasions, it's not. Especially, I hate to categorize or generalize it, but in Latino households specifically, or Caribbean households specifically, the man is majority catered to, right? And we women sometimes can feel like it's lacks, like he's not participating in the home, right? That's not the case at all. His love tank is not being filled, and we have to retrain him, right? We're retraining our husbands, but we're not retraining them with hatred or resentment. We're retraining them with honey. That's how it's sad. It's sad that we have to say it that way, but it's probably the best example that I can give. My husband is more inclined to love me in my needs. He's more inclined to write cute messages for me on the fridge when I have supplied whatever his need is. My husband is more inclined to bring me home flowers and chocolate and cute little earrings and accessories when I have supplied his need, rather than withhold from him. Now, again, I'm not saying this if you are in an abusive marriage where your husband is either verbally, emotionally, or physically abusing you, and you can figure out how you're going to define that, right? No man should ever be putting his hands on you at all. Want to be very, very clear in that. And you should, if you feel like it's too much for you, don't stay if that's the case. But 99% of the time, that's not the case that's happening here. What is happening is, as a wife, we just have this chip on our shoulder that my man should be doing for me anyway. I'm not going to give him nothing until he does for me. That's not okay. That's not okay. In the kingdom, it is upside down. You lose your right. You lose your right to feel catered to on a regular basis. When you decide that you wanted to become a citizen of the kingdom, and I'm speaking specifically to women who are Christians, I'm not talking about nobody else. Women who are Christians who are married, you lose your right when you decided that you wanted to become a citizen of the kingdom in order for you to be right, in order for you to be served. You have chosen to be a servant. And that is how you would lead in your home, as a servant, right? Your husband will do the same. But sometimes men just need a little bit of an example. And that's where we step in as wives. Well, I'm telling you right now, it's going to take a lot of prayer if you're not there yet. And if you're wanting to be married at a point later on down the line, pray now that your heart stays tender in a matter of servitude to your husband, because you're not serving your husband, you are serving Christ. Your husband is the priest of the home, and he's ultimately serving Christ as well. But when you are serving your husband, you do it as unto the Lord. Period. Point blank. Full stop. It is a challenge when your heart is set on that you need to be catered to. Some of these really cute posts that are out there online of what like couples should look like with their matching and that the husbands are doing all of these really flowery things. While it's cute, it's not the everyday reality for 90% of what happens inside of a marriage. Marriage is hard work. And a lot of that hard work is on the individual, whether it be the husband or the wife. And we each have to do the hard work of working through our emotions, through our childhood traumas, of working through our hang-ups, things like that, the baggage that we brought into the marriage. Because whether you believe it or not, a lot of the times you're still bringing baggage into the marriage. So if you can, while you're single, work on it now. Work on it before you come to the table as much as you possibly can to ease the burden once you're in the marriage. Because then when things come up where your husband is leaving the toothpaste cap off, right? Because it happens. When your husband's leaving the toothpaste cap off, what happens then? You're going to be mad because it's not just the toothpaste cap. It's also the fact that he left his drawers outside of the hamper. It's also the fact that he left some dirty dishes in the sink. It's also the fact that he left his soda can on top of the dresser. It's also the fact that he didn't clean up the crumbs that he left on the table after he was done eating. That's like, you may think that I'm exaggerating or that I'm doing too much in explaining that, but that is actually a very normal thing. That is a common complaint of most women in their marriages. I have that with my family members. Me and other wives talk about how our husbands may not do those things, but what I've chosen to do is give my husband what he needs, and in turn, his eyes will start to be open to what I need. And it's a challenge, but it's so rewarding. Because the first 3 years of my marriage, resisting that bred fight after fight after fight. Even sometimes where I became jealous, and also at times where I'm thinking that my husband is cheating on me because he wasn't doing what I asked him to do at home. And there was like a lot of things, right? If I'm just being 100%. At that point, though, there was a crux where I had to come to is, am I wanting to fight for my marriage, or am I wanting to fight against my husband in order to accomplish whatever sometimes meaningless tasks occur in my home? And it was better for me. I had to pick and choose my battles. It was better for me to lay down my flesh, lay down my pride, give my husband what he needed, rather than withhold to get what I needed. And I ended up getting so much more out of it. Me and my husband are so in love. So in love with each other. But that came at a cost of me laying down my pride and giving my husband something that may not have been comfortable for me at the time. And out of it, we have grown tremendously. Anyhow, I know this was a little bit heavier for a Friday, but I want you to take that going into the weekend. Spend the weekend with your husband and serving him in the bedroom, right? If that's the way that your husband receives love. If your husband receives love and intimacy in a different way, then do that. Give that to him. No, hold nothing. Don't expect anything out of it. Give freely and pray through it. Do not pray, Lord, let my giving of this gift freely to my husband be the thing that gets me what I need. Don't pray that type of prayer. Pray the prayer of, Lord, help me to find satisfaction in giving freely to my husband of his needs, and help me understand that I am serving you in this process. And I want you to come back, comment on the video later on and be like, girl, that worked. If it didn't work, it didn't work. But come back later and come and tell me. I want you to comment down below and let me know how this went for you. Or find me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. On TikTok, I'm the Talk Wife. On Instagram, I'm Jillian.Divina. And on Facebook, I'm Jillian D. Food. Come and find me. Come and find me and tell me exactly that, or how I can be praying for you. If this didn't work for you, then we need to have a prayer strategy to work on your heart, right? Not your husband's. It's not about him. Let's work on your heart first. Because if your heart is right, you're going to find the goodness rather than finding every flaw that your husband brings home, and therefore withholding. I hope that this was edifying. I hope that this was encouraging. Please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Bring the whole crew around. Remember, you're at this point, you are a different woman for a reason. And I want to continue to encourage you in being different, breaking the mold from what the other people, maybe even in church, might be saying. I hope that this was beneficial and edifying. Grace and peace.